Hello, welcome to Life at SJOG : Doing Good, which is all about the people who work and live in SJOG and make SJOG what it is today. So each episode that we'll be doing, and hopefully there'll be lots of these, will be hosted by two people from the organisation. Today, it's me and Joe, our hospitality coordinator. Joe is the face of the SJOG head office, aren't you, Joe?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Whether I want to be or not.
All right. Okay.
And this is Paul, our Chief Executive, former support worker, turnaround leader and full-time dad joke provider. Today we're talking about values, culture and the art of making people feel welcome and how doing good is part of everyday life here at SJOG. So what first brought you to the world of social care, Paul?
So I trained as a primary school teacher initially, and did my teaching practices, and then didn't go and teach in school. I went to work at an outward bound centre, so teaching kids how to climb and to sail and canoe and windsurf and do lots of cool stuff. Okay. Did a bit of TV work whilst I was there as well. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Mm-hmm. From there I started to work with groups with particular needs. So I worked with kids who had come in from social services, because it was cheaper for social services to send children to us for a week rather than to provide them with 24-hour care 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. And I also worked with people with autism and particularly with Asperger's. So after a couple of years of sailing and canoeing and walking up mountains, I thought I needed a proper job. The bit that I really enjoyed was working with not just the school age groups, but the children and the groups with particular needs. Right. And so that was a route through. And I became a support worker in a registered care home for people with learning disabilities and worked with people with enduring mental illness. Mm-hmm. So that's it. And so that's how. And 30 years later, I only went in and I thought I'd do this for a bit. And 30 years later, here I am. Still here.
Kind of segues into the next question because it says you started work as a support worker. What from that time still shapes your leadership today?
I think I was lucky. I ended up in a really good care home. I had a really good group of people that I was working with, and they set the values. Mm-hmm. So they had good values. They imparted good values to me. The piece around dignity, that everybody has the same human worth, I think was something that I took from that. And the fact that we're here to help people change and progress. Mm-hmm. So I worked with a guy a chap with Down syndrome, and I worked with him to make a cup of tea. And we worked on this again and again and again. And there's a whole thing about sequencing, and you have to get the cup out, you have to get the spoon out, you have to get the tea bag, and blah, blah, blah. And so the whole process of making a cup of tea, we worked on for months. And there were days where I was just like, it would take 20 minutes to make a cup of tea once we'd organised everything. But you just get into that point where you go, the point isn't to make the cup of tea, it's to learn how to make the cup of tea. Yeah. So it's not about how do we do this faster, it's how do we do this that has the maximum impact and benefit. Yeah. So I think those are the two things I take from it.
And I bet it was great when you made that cup of tea with him.
Yeah, no. So he had a technique. I've never seen anyone do this. He would put the tea bag in, put the water in, put the milk in, which is already wrong. Yeah, I know. And then he would just stir it and stir it and stir it. And he would keep going and keep going and keep going. And you would think that he'd got it entirely wrong. And then he'd hand you a cup of tea that was both strong and milky. So it had so much flavour. I don't know how he's done it. I've tried it. I've never been able to make one like it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Special technique.
So when you joined SJOG, things were tough. I think a lot of us who've been here quite a while can remember those times. Can you tell us about a moment when you thought, yes, we can turn this around?
So just to be clear, when we're talking about things being tough, when I arrived, the trustees had already decided that they were going to close the charity in 12 months if it couldn't be turned around. Mm-hmm. We were losing £1.8 million a year on a £15 million turnover, and about half of our services were rated as inadequate or requires improvement. Yeah, so not good services. I came in knowing that. What I didn't know was lots of other things. So every time we picked up a stone in the organisation and looked under it, there was that piece around, okay, well that's just a poor practice issue that we need to deal with. So we'll have to put the stone back on that because we've got legal issues and regulatory issues to deal with. So when we're talking about the organisation not being in a good place, it wasn't in a good place. And it had been previously. It had been a really successful organisation, £25 million of services, staff team of 900 people, £9 million in the bank, and just over a period of 6 years, it had just gone into decline, which is a real shame because it's a fantastic organisation. So we worked in trying to get people to reconnect with the ambition that they had for the people that we're here to serve. And I think when we held a conference and we had a conversation about whether we should spend the money, but we had a conference in Leeds where we got service managers together, people in the organisation together for the first time. And when we were in workshops talking about what we were doing and where we were going and the ambition we had for the organisation, and people clicked with it, and we got the feedback that people had clicked with it, that was the point where I thought, this is going to be all right. But difficult times. I mean, we lost a lot of people. We brought in a new leadership team. Most of the people who were in the failing organisation are the same people that were in the successful organisation. So it's just, I think we made better use of people and we engaged people better so that they could do the job that they wanted to do.
And I think a lot of people, there's a lot of people still on the ground who are of that time.
Yeah.
You know, you like Kane, people like that who were still here, because I think we still had the values, because I was here around that time.
Yeah,
and I think
you were the first person
the
that I
passion
met
was still
at
here.
SJOG.
Yeah, you came in soaking wet late for your interview.
It's good to make a first impression. I was late for my interview. I remember that.
Yeah.
I wasn't just a little bit late. I was an hour
Very
late.
late.
Yeah, I was really late.
I was sat like this.
Yeah.
Anywho.
So what about you then? So you were here when I came. When did you first start at SJOG?
So I first started SJOG over 20 years ago, because I worked at Lindisfarne as a support worker.
There we go.
With my dad. My dad worked there too. So my dad was a permanent member of staff and I was a bank support worker. I mainly did nights. And it was when I'd just had my first child. So it was just a little bit of extra money when I went back to work. And I was just doing bank because, again, first time mum, and I just wanted to work to fit around my needs. And I left the bank job because the nights weren't working for me, being a full young mum. But I stayed in the care sector.
Yeah.
So I worked in domiciliary care. That's where I learned to ride a motorbike.
Good.
Because I'm not a car driver, and I stupidly went for a job as a domiciliary carer, forgetting that domiciliary care, I need to move around. But luckily, the guy who owned the agency was a biker.
Yeah.
And he said, look, we want you to work for us. You can't drive. How do you think about doing your CBT? And I'm like, oh, yeah, because my husband rides bikes. So I did that for a few years, stayed in care, and then I eventually went to work for a local charity, Dalton Association on Disability.
Yep.
And I stayed there for 10 years, and I thought, I like working for this charity, lark. It's kind of where I think my heart is. I got made redundant because funding at the time for local charities, particularly small charities, was very reliant on government funding, Easter egg tombolas, pig races, that sort of charity. So I got made redundant from there, and then I came here, and I've been here pretty much ever since. Yeah, and it going on 12
we've never
years.
had, or I'm not aware that we've ever had an SJOG pig race.
No, but we really should.
We really should.
Yeah, the fun.
Do you think we could do one in the office?
I think we could. Not real pigs, though. It's all on screen.
No, come on.
Yeah.
If we don't have real pigs, I don't even know whether it's ethical.
Pie and pea night, and they're not even real pigs.
Pie, pea and pig night?
Yeah, you're watching, it's like a wooden contraption, and you literally set it off, and they're just like wooden pigs, race. So, because you can't use real pigs.
Is that ethically unsound?
Yeah, but we did it while eating pork pies. Pie and pea night and pig racing.
Pork pies and pigs. It's just wrong, isn't it? It is wrong.
Totally wrong.
When my kids were small, we went to one of these country houses on like a bank holiday, and they had a whole festival going on, and you had the chance to meet Peppa Pig, but on the posters it says meet Peppa Pig and George, and then at the bottom it says, and we've got hog roast. And there was just the two together were just like so wrong. All right, listen, what do you love most about being the first face that people meet?
I like people. It's going to sound really wet, but I like people. I love knowing how people are. I say hello the same way every morning to everybody.
Yeah.
And I genuinely mean it. And I can be quite like hyper. And I think I get on people's nerves sometimes because I'm like, morning. But I just genuinely, I'm an inherently nosy person. And I like to be the first person to ask how somebody is on a morning. And there's a little bit of selfishness there, is that I get good mornings
Oh, you
for
get
like
loads of them. Loads
a
of
good
positive
hour
feedback.
on a morning. And it's like, it's nice for me because people ask me how I am, and it's a nice way to start your day.
Okay.
It's just, yeah.
One of the things I remember is we went to the conference, our last conference on health and happiness. And we had the Art of Brilliance there, who said, there's the 2%ers, the 2% of people in the organisation who absolutely embody your values. And our core value is hospitality. And everybody said, Joe.
Yeah, and that still makes me feel really awkward.
Why?
Because I don't do it for that reason.
I know.
I genuinely do just like people.
But just accept that's the way it is. So when did you think, actually, this organisation feels like me?
I think it was at the point of interview. So it was when we were still in Beat House.
Yeah.
It was the welcome I got when I came in. So this is when I say that a lot of the values were still there, even though, we were struggling at the time. The warmth was still there, I think. And I remember I walked in and we had a reception, but it wasn't open. There was like a, you remember?
I remember.
Yeah.
It was like a little...
It's like a little hatch.
It was
almost.
like a little hatch.
Yeah. So I came in and obviously I was quite nervous, but there was somebody working. She worked in finance at the time, and she was just looking after reception.
Yeah.
That's why they needed somebody working on reception, because there wasn't anybody at the time. And she was lovely. And then a lady who used to work with Karen came, and she just sat down with me and brought me a cup of tea and just asked how I was. And it was just like, oh, this is the sort of place that I want to come and work, because I just felt totally at ease. And then I was interviewed by Karen and Carol.
Yeah.
Who were still two of my favourite people
Dame
within the
Karen and Dame Carol.
Yes, who were still two of my favourite people within the organisation. And it was just like, if I don't get this job, I'm going to cry. And they phoned me up straight away, and I got the job.
Good.
Here I am.
And then, because of funding, you left us for a while.
No.
Was it not because of funding?
No, it was because of COVID. So there was a reshuffle, and that's when I moved from reception to finance. And I worked in finance for a while.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And I just could not cope very well at home. My daughter had just left for the RAF. We were homeschooling our son George, and that need for people just doesn't go away for me. And I go a little bit. This is why I don't like working from home. I'm not a very nice person when I'm like at home. So I made the very difficult decision to go and work in a hospital in the height of COVID. So I was working on a COVID ward. My husband thought I'd literally lost the plot. He's like, we're safe in the dining room. Why are you full people? And it was that need for people. Yeah. Once all of that was out my system, I kind of went into a different job doing like project work for Mitsubishi, which was totally...
Wow.
Different for me, where my husband worked. And then I saw the job for HR come up, and it was just like, oh!
You get to go
and
back.
I came back, and I worked in HR. So I've worked across a lot of teams.
So you know everything?
No. I know a little bit about a lot of things, I think.
That's not a bad thing. That's me. I know a lot of things. I mean, I'm a generalist. So the thing about being chief executive is you need to know a lot about a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you have specialists who you can lean on to say, tell me more about this.
Yeah.
But you know enough so that you can ask the questions.
Yeah.
Which I think is always
really
useful.
I was rubbish in finance because I'm no good with numbers. Yeah. But Leanne, bless her.
Strong move.
Gave me a chance. But,
strong move.
Yeah.
All right. So where are we going next? What are we talking about next, Jo?
So is that me?
Yes, it is.
So let's talk about hospitality, compassion and respect. And what do they look like for you in day-to-day life?
My card says chat freely.
Yeah, so does mine. For me, I mean, I always find it difficult when somebody asks me, tell me about those three things. Because I think if you're living them, it's like that thing, isn't it? If it's something that you're doing every day, it's hard to...
Yeah. I don't think
most
of our colleagues know how good they are because they think, well, this is just my job.
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, but your job is remarkable.
Yeah.
And the way you do it is remarkable.
Yeah.
And people go, but it's just what I do every day.
Yeah.
And it's only when we turn a spotlight on people, or when they go out and they can see what's going on elsewhere, they go, oh, no, actually, what we do here is really, in many cases, exceptional. So in terms of me, hospitality is very simple. Hospitality is just about making people feel welcome, which is why I think you're very good at that. And I think that's why you embody the values of the organization. So it's not about issuing a welcome. It's about making people feel like they belong and that they are welcome. And I was talking to a new colleague today about how her first 4 days have been. And she said, everybody's so nice. Everybody's so warm. Everybody's so welcoming.
Yeah.
She said, there isn't a single person I've talked to where I've gone, yeah, no, everybody understands what it is that we do. And that's why we say the values that we have on the wall match those on the floor.
Yeah.
And the phrase came to me from one of the brothers who said to me, when I said to them, hospitality as a concept is quite difficult to get my head around. You know, it's not about bars and clubs and hotels, because that's what it tells you in the dictionary. He said, it's very simple. It's just about saying, welcome, come on in. How can we be of help?
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. For me, it's just about be a nice person and
But
respect other people and
compassion, similar thing again. It's not difficult. It's empathy in action. Yeah. It's that piece around not sympathy, oh, poor you.
Yeah.
It's a case of I'm doing something because I can see and I can feel how you're feeling about this. Not to say I understand how you feel about things, because we all interpret things different ways. But that whole thing about empathy and action, there is a doing part of it, and we talk about doing good does you good, which might be why this podcast has got do good in it. Right. Anyway, the and then respect is about that piece that I said right at the beginning around. We value people's human worth. Yeah. Everybody has the same human worth. Yeah. And so we treat people as if they have the same human worth.
Yeah.
Once again, really not complicated.
It's not. No, it's not for me. And it's like, if you're asking somebody how they are, it's listening to how they are rather than formulating your next bit of the conversation. Sometimes it can be quite empty. Somebody will say, oh, how are you doing? But then, they've switched off because they're already thinking about what they're going to respond.
Yeah.
When they ask me how I am, this is what I'm going to say. And it's about kind of switching your mind off for me. So when you're asking somebody, how are you doing? It's like, just listen to how they're doing. And sometimes you can pick up bits where you wouldn't notice if you weren't listening. And, sometimes you'll pick up that somebody isn't quite right, and you can kind of...
There's the standard response. I mean, I joke with Lisa about this, is that, you say, how are you? And people will say, yeah, I'm okay. And you go, no, how are you? That second ask isn't just I'm not doing this just to be polite. I'm actually interested in what it is.
9 times out of 10 it works.
Yeah, people will share with you.
Yeah. So that's what it is for me.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Tell me about a moment of hospitality that you've seen in the organisation. And it's not on the cards. Don't look there.
Tell me about a
moment of hospitality that you've seen in the office.
Do you know what? I think I think we see it every day in the office, and I think a lot of us have worked together long enough that we bounce off each other and we work well together.
Yeah.
But for me, what always stands out is when people from service come in to the office.
Yeah.
And it's always those people who say to me, "Do you want a coffee?"
Yeah.
Because we're all used to working together here, and I'll offer people coffee because I'm just a bit of a busybody and Mrs. Overall. You have to be a certain age to know who Mrs. Overall is. But we don't routinely ask, because you can't work in an office like that where everybody always has to make coffees for other people, for the whole office. But it's when people come from service, like your Sharons and your Nicolas and your Jesses. It's like, "Do you want a cuppa?" And it's like, oh, having somebody ask me if I want a cuppa, that's lovely.
I see that when I go to services. So I've been involved in charities, and I'm involved in other charities and sitting on boards and those kind of things. And what's remarkable about going to our services is that when you go in, people will immediately ask you, say, "Come on in, you're most welcome. Would you like a cup of tea?" And that's that piece. It's a very small gift, but it is a gift, and it reinforces that bit around you're welcome here. I'm happy to feed you. I'm happy to provide you with something to drink. And often there's cake as well, Joe, and I love cake.
Yes, we all like cake.
And we all like cake.
But yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have.
Okay, think about something small that someone at SJOG did recently that made you think, this is who we are. Is that the cup of tea? Is that people offering you stuff here?
No, well, yeah, that. But there's a couple of times. Lynn, who works in the housing team.
Yes.
I wasn't in work on the day she did it, but I came into it on my desk. She literally just put a little chocolate heart on everybody's desk. And I came in and it was like, oh, who's this from? And it was from Lynn. And it was just like, it was lovely. It was a nice gesture.
Yeah.
And for no other reason is that she'd got some chocolate hearts and thought, I'm going to give them out at work. And it was just like, oh. And that's who we are. I think people just genuinely think this would be nice for the people at work.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the people in the office, the people in service, whatever. I think we've got a lot of those people about, I think.
Yeah, it's a good place to work. Good place to work.
It is.
Now, I think we're moving on to section 3 now,
I think we
which
are.
is about picking cards
Picking
from...
card from the table.
Are you going to pick a card from the table?
Yeah, I'll pick one. One closest to us, I think.
What does it say?
Doing good is part of who we are. What does doing good mean to each of you?
What's doing good?
I think I've already said it. It's just, I think it's being a nice person and just doing the best you can every single day you come to work, and not just in the office, outside of work. I'm exactly the same outside of work as I am in work. I think people think it's something that I switch on and off when I come to work. I think an element of it is, because you've got to kind of put the face on. But I think just being a nice person and offering to help others. I saw a man in town the other day. It was absolutely pouring with rain, and there was this little older man, and he was rushing round. He was rushing across High Road with his brolly. But then there was a woman and her child who were like literally under a coat, her coat, and he gave them his brolly, and I was just like, oh. That's just it's things, little
catching
things
the train
like that.
on the way in today. There was a woman. So there was a guy walking just in front of me, and there was a woman getting on the train, and she had a suitcase, and she had a pram, and she had a toddler, and the door was closed. And he said, "Do you need any help?" And she said, "Thank you." And it was the smallest thing. He pressed the button to open the door. He helped her onto the train, and then he went down the thing to her carriage. She went to her chair. It's those little moments that helped her bind us together, I think.
And I think if you pay attention, you see them more.
Yeah, I think the whole doing good thing, though, there's two dimensions to doing good. One is doing good does you good. So I think that's something that John of God said, and it's something that we talk about a lot in the organisation. It's the doing part that makes the difference. Yeah, not the thinking good or the having the intention to do good. It's the actual doing good. So I think there's an action part to that. Then I think the other thing is, we've talked in the organisation, we've played on the words before about the fact that we're doing good. We're flourishing as an organisation. We continue to grow. We're of more help to more people each year. It's a good place to be. So we're both doing good and we're doing good. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. There you go. I like that one. What's the next one?
Am I picking up?
Well, I can pick. I can read.
Go on, then.
How do we create an organisation where doing good feels natural?
I think it's employing the right people is the first step.
Absolutely.
Making sure that, during interview that they know what our values are, and I think display those values. They might not know exactly, people who've worked here years, like me, find it hard sometimes to elaborate on it, but I think you can tell from the offset if somebody's going to be right.
So I spoke to somebody in the office who was just recruiting, and I said that recruiting it's the aim is that you get the best person to do the job, somebody who makes us better as an organisation. Everybody that we bring in has to make us better than we are without them. It's not just about filling a space, and I understand there's pressure in services when you need a certain safe number of people to deliver services, but there is a piece where you go, actually, when we're interviewing for people, if there's nobody who's good enough that makes us better, then we won't employ. We'll go again.
Yeah.
And the 3 questions that I always ask in my head as I'm sitting there listening to people talking, as I'm asking questions, is 1, can this person do the job? 2, will they stay long enough to make the recruitment worthwhile? So that might be 2 years. Yeah, because there's an investment that we make in recruitment and in training. And if people are only going to be here for 6 months, before they flit off and do something else, then that's up to them. And the third is, will they fit in?
Yeah.
And that's not, are they a clone of people we already have in the organisation? Because, we're a very diverse organisation. There are 40 languages spoken as a first language across the charity amongst our 630 something colleagues. It's not about, do they look like us and are they like us, but will they fit in?
Yeah.
And that bit around will they fit in, I think, is really important. I know from talking to some colleagues in the office, they say, we interviewed this person and they were a proper SJOG person,
Yeah,
and that's like,
it
yeah,
kind
that's
of comes
great.
from here.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
really does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's that. You can see where people have a warmth to them, and they're also ambitious for the people that we're here to support. And even if they can't vocalize that, they might be right at the beginning of their career. Even if they can't vocalize that, we can draw it out of them, and we can encourage it and go, no, actually, at your heart, you've got hospitality, you've got compassion and respect, even if you don't realize it and you don't express it in that term.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Are we going another one?
Do we have to pick all the cards?
Yeah, go again.
Oh, there's only 3.
Oh,
Can each of you share one small act of kindness or good deed that listeners can do today?
Okay.
To me, it's just asking how somebody is.
Yeah.
It's a good deed.
Yeah.
And listening to how they are.
Smiling at people.
Yes.
People are reflexive. So if you scowl at them, they will think, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
If you smile at people, they tend to smile back.
Yeah.
I tell you what you can do to freak people out on buses, though, and trains. If people are getting on the bus and you've got a space next to you, or a trainer, and they're sat, and you've got a space next to you, as they get on, make eye contact. Pat the seat. And people don't come and sit there.
No.
Although if they do come and sit there, you're in trouble because you've signed up for an entire journey of conversation.
No. I mean, smiling can get a little bit weird. I had a man this morning, and I was walking up to the bus, and anybody who lives in Harrogate Hill where I live knows the cut that I'm talking about. But it's just this weird little cut that goes in amongst the houses. It's not a back alley. It's like a little cut with like hedges here that goes to the bus stop. And there was this little older man doing Tai Chi. No, I've lived in Harrogate Hill all my life, and I've seen him in Harrogate Hill, but I've never seen him doing Tai Chi outside. And he was just doing Tai Chi in the cut. And I walked past him, and it wasn't even for my benefit, he just had the biggest smile on his face. And I walked past him, and he looked at me and smiled, like, obviously gave a smile that was intended for me. And I was beaming all the way to the bus stop, and it was like stupid o'clock this morning, getting the bus. Normally you're just like, ugh. And it cheered me up, and it's right, just smiling at somebody.
A smile makes such a difference.
Yeah.
Such a difference. It can be a proper kindness. I live in a town where people say hello to each other, which is nice.
Yeah.
But I always make a point of, when I'm passing older people or people with their walkers and their what have you, of just saying hello.
Make eye contact. Yeah.
Make eye contact, say hello, because for some older people, loneliness is a massive issue. And I think just that I see you and I see you here and you are part of this community, I think is a useful thing.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. Simple things. There was a lady walking along with as I was coming into the office today, walking past the Mind Charity shop. She was walking along with a rollator. The bit closer to the shop is all bumpy. The bits further out is smooth. Yeah. And so I moved so that she could move her rollator out to the smoother bit, and I went closer to the shops. It was a simple thing to do, but it's a tiny kindness that makes her life better.
Yeah.
And I said good morning, and she said good morning back, and I smiled at her and she smiled at me, and then we went on about our day. It's those things that help kind of bind society together.
Definitely. I agree. Yeah. Totally
So that's
agree.
good. All right, listen, apparently it's quick fire now. So I'm going to ask you loads of questions. I'm just going to pick up all these.
Right, okay.
All right. Joe, one thing you tell someone about joining SJOG.
Do it. It's a great place to work.
Fantastic. Your go-to comfort snack at work.
Sliced apple and peanut butter.
Oh, nice.
Good energy boost as
Cake.
well.
Always cake. 100 times. And the nice thing is there's so much variety. Before I came in here, I was having breakfast cake, which is an actual thing. Yeah, in the Netherlands, there is a thing called breakfast cake,
Right.
and you have it at breakfast, but mostly they have it in the afternoon. But I figure if it's called breakfast cake,
Surely there's got to be a study that people from the Netherlands are happier than anybody else in the whole world if they're having breakfast cake.
probably, I think so. I think any culture which has cake for breakfast, I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Brioche and hot chocolate in France. I mean, I'm there. Anyway,
no-brainer.
one thing you wish everyone knew about SJOG.
Just, I feel as though I'm repeating myself, but it is a nice place to work.
Yeah.
And the people are lovely, and it's, you know, the value that we have as members of staff is better than anywhere else that I've worked before.
See, I like the fact that we do. I mean, it's a small thing, but sending out birthday cards and Christmas cards with a voucher for all of our colleagues, you know, and of a value which is, you know, £50 a pop. It makes a difference that just says, you know, you're valued here, tied to nothing else.
Yeah.
Then it's your individual birthday. Off you go.
Yeah, it's not just the voucher, it's the handwritten card that you still insist on doing the 600 and odd Christmas cards every year.
It's a lot.
I could give you a sticker,
It's
like, no, I'll write them.
But there is a thing about valuing the people that work for us, and because
it matters.
Because we all work in the same machine, I guess, organization. We're all different cogs in the same machine, and there is that bit of you take one of them out and the machine doesn't work.
Yeah.
So everybody has the same value. It's the piece we come back to, and that's the piece that I really like to hold on to.
Yeah.
I think everybody should know about SJOG, and I think we're one of the larger charities. So we have an income, it costs £30 million a year to run the organisation. We have 600 colleagues, we're in 50 communities around the country. Nobody really knows about us. No. So I think we need to do more in that external, outward facing bit that says, this is who we are and we're good at what we do. I mean, the people who work with us know us and love us. Our partners know us and love us. Our 99 funders know us and love us. But the general population, no clue. No. They won't have heard of us.
No. And the amount of people who've asked me since we moved to the town centre thinking that we're a new organisation because we're more visual now. They've never heard of us before. And it's like, well,
we've been around for over 140 years. Yeah. And we've been in Darlington for an awfully long time. I think the people knew the brothers.
Yeah.
Because the brothers used to go out collecting money in pubs.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it there.
Yeah.
Okay. Favourite moment at work this month?
Favourite moment at work this month? I have lots of moments that I like at work. I think my favourite moment at work this month was probably last week when everybody was in the office, when every room was booked, when people were having meetings in the print room and the build room, and it was
in the
just
storeroom there was
so busy.
Doug and Sam were having a meeting because there was no other space to have a meeting.
And a colleague said to me, "Oh my God, it's like crazy in here today," and it's like, yeah. And it's I like days. I love days where you can kind of chill out and catch up with your admin and catch up with your day job. But I like days when it's just absolutely
we're busy.
Crazy.
We're a busy organisation and we get a lot done.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of it goes on out in the communities, in the services where we're at.
Yeah.
But it's nice sometimes to see that here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Busy is good. Good for your mind.
Okay. That's it. I've got no more cards. What's that one there?
No.
Is that another card?
That's it. Oh.
Yeah, no, we've done that one already. Okay. All right. Joe, if you had to end this episode with one word that sums up SJOG, what would it be?
Amazeballs.
That's such a Joe thing to say.
I
would have gone with hospitality because that sums up who we are and what we do. But I can't compete with amazeballs. All right. Listen, thank you, Joe. Thank you for everyone for listening. And hopefully the next people who do this will have as much fun and have as many laughs as we did. It's been all right, hasn't it?
It's been all right.
I was a bit nervous coming into this. Were you nervous coming into this?
Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Even though I
'cause-
like to talk for a living, but
yeah, but it's different doing it
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you're being recorded and on
It is,
camera, and you've
it
got
is.
Chantel sitting in the background.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Hello,
I know.
Chantel.
Hi, Chantel. Shout out to Chantel, by the way. Oh, I didn't do my shout out.
Go on, do
I
your
wanted
shout
to do
out.
my
Do your
shout
shout
out.
out.
So there's 2 shout outs that I want to give. One is for Chantel, because she's always sat on that side of the camera and she is amazing at what she does. And she's a very good egg. And the other shout out I wanted to give was for Sharon, who works in CCSL. Because she is an SJOG person, and from
She
the
is.
very first day she came here, I recognised her as a feeder. And she comes in and she brings homemade pies and homemade everything. And if she hasn't homemade it, she'll go out and buy it, and she'll still bring it into the office every time she comes. So shout out to Sharon as well for just being an all-round good egg.
Bless her.
Nice person.
Bless
as
her.
everybody is, but yeah.
Okay, I think maybe we should get Chantel on this side of the camera speaking in future about what she does. Her and Karen together, the marketing dynamic duo. You can't see shaking, this gentle shaking of the head. All right, listen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Thank you, Joe. Pleasure as always. We'll
Thank
get on
you.
we'll get on with our day now. So much work to do. All right, on we go.